Machiavellianism, the third part of the Dark Triad, and the most cunning and strategic personality type out of all three. This personality is definitely different from the other two. But before we understand what makes it so unique, let's first find out where this term came from. So, let's start from the beginning. Back in the 16th century, a political book became very famous. It was mainly about politics and leadership. The book openly talked about diplomacy, political strategy, war tactics, power, and many other related topics. It was written by an Italian diplomat and philosopher, Niccolò Machiavelli. The term Machiavellianism comes from his name. Later, in 1960, Richard Christie and Florence Geis introduced this term into psychology based on a set of personality traits. From that point on, Machiavellianism began to be considered a personality type. People who have Machiavellian traits are called Machiavellians. Even though Machiavellianism is part of the Dark Triad, it is not considered a personality disorder like narcissism or psychopathy. The behavior and personality traits of Machiavellians are also somewhat different from those of narcissists and psychopaths. Now, let's look at what makes Machiavellians unique. The biggest thing that separates a Machiavellian from a narcissist or a psychopath is self-control. Unlike psychopaths, they are not controlled by their impulses or emotions, and unlike narcissists, they are not driven by their ego or pride. They are able to stay in control of themselves. Along with having self-control, they are also extremely focused on their end goal. In fact, sometimes they're too focused. Most of the time, a Machiavellian's ultimate goal is power. That's why money, status, and influence become their biggest driving forces. This intense level of focus often makes them more competent than the average person. They believe they are superior to other people, and to put it more clearly, they often are more capable than most people. They can achieve great success in both their careers and personal lives because there's only one thing they truly care about: themselves. Machiavellians are coldly selfish. They only care about themselves and their own goals. They are the kind of highly selfish people who become so obsessed with their own interests that they stop caring about limits or boundaries. To achieve their goals, they are willing to go to any extreme and turn against anyone. It doesn't matter whether it's one person or an entire society, a stranger, or even their own family. When it comes to their self-interest, nothing else matters. Because of this mindset, Machiavellians rarely make family commitments, building a community, or even self-love a priority. The only thing they truly strive for is power. Studies show that Machiavellians usually don't prefer violent or physically aggressive crimes. Instead, they are more likely to be involved in white-collar crimes, such as financial fraud, money laundering, and similar offenses. The fact that Machiavellians don't prefer physical violence doesn't mean they aren't capable of it. It simply means they don't think it's necessary. There's a famous quote by Niccolò Machiavelli that perfectly reflects this mindset. Never attempt to win by force what can be won by deception. Just like this quote suggests, Machiavellians prefer psychological attacks. That's why they rely on their greatest strength, manipulation. If you can break someone mentally, then why would you ever need to use physical force? Machiavellians are highly manipulative. And when I say highly, I'm comparing them to the other two Dark Triad personalities. Yes, Machiavellians are much better at manipulation than both narcissists and psychopaths. Using someone's psychological state for their own benefit, emotionally exploiting people, or mentally breaking someone down completely just so they can be used. These are all common behaviors for them. Some studies suggest that Machiavellian individuals may have superior mental abilities compared to the average person, although this is not always the case. They are generally better than most people at understanding someone else's mental state. Even so, while they may understand another person's pain, they cannot actually feel that pain themselves. Instead, they imitate or mimic those emotions. They can pretend that they care about you, and Machiavellians do this very easily because they are naturally extreme liars. They can lie so convincingly that you may even start questioning your own truth. If you are useful to their interests, they can become the best person you've ever met. That's why Machiavellians often come across as charming. You'll feel like you've finally found the person of your dreams. But in reality, that dream isn't yours, it's theirs. And it's not that Machiavellians don't care about people or don't want to care. The truth is, they are simply not capable of caring in the way most people are. Many of them show traits associated with a mental condition called alexithymia. Alexithymia is not a personality disorder. It is a mental condition in which a person is emotionally detached from the people around them, and sometimes even from themselves. They are unable to truly experience emotional attachment or love, so even if they pretend to love someone, they cannot genuinely love that person from the heart. They cannot truly care about someone because they simply aren't capable of feeling those emotions. This condition can become even more extreme when it comes to emotions like empathy. Just like the other two Dark Triad personalities, Machiavellians also lack empathy. However, this lack of empathy is usually more extreme in psychopaths and narcissists. But compared to the average person, Machiavellians generally have a lower EQ. They can easily destroy someone's mental and emotional well-being. They usually don't understand or care about the emotional damage they leave behind. They also have a strong sense of superiority that prevents them from seeing other people's lives as equal to their own. They see other people as nothing more than tools, puppets that help them achieve their final goal. That's a pretty immoral way to think. Speaking of being immoral, let's talk about morality. Do Machiavellians care about morality? The answer is both yes and no. Morality matters to them only as long as it doesn't get in the way of what they want. If it does get in their way, then you already know the answer. At the same time, they usually don't want to openly break moral rules in public. Why? Because they understand that most people not only respect morality, but are also deeply guided by it. That's why Machiavellians only value morality as much as it benefits them. The extreme selfishness of Machiavellians often helps them succeed in their careers. Their desire for money and power is incredibly strong. Because of this, many people in what we call the elite, or the top 1%, are more likely to have Machiavellian traits. Some possible real-life examples include Thomas Edison and Mark Zuckerberg. And when it comes to fictional characters, examples include Thomas Shelby and Kiyotaka Ayanokoji. Although it might sound like there are no real downsides to being a Machiavellian, that's not true. Every action has its consequences. Even though Machiavellians may seem successful and socially charming, the truth is that they are often lonely. They are not capable of feeling deep emotional attachment to other people. That's why they often struggle to maintain long-term relationships or marriages. They just keep chasing their goals. It doesn't matter if you have all the happiness in the world. If you don't have people to share that happiness with, then that happiness has no real value. Like the other two Dark Triad traits, Machiavellianism can be genetic, but compared to narcissism and psychopathy, Machiavellianism is influenced more by a person's environment than by genetics. Neurologically, the brains of Machiavellian individuals can also be slightly different from those of the average person. The left side of their prefrontal cortex may be slightly larger. In addition, brain regions such as the basal ganglia, insula, and hippocampus may also be larger. Studies show that a bad childhood, such as growing up with abuse, abusive parents, or experiencing divorce, can affect a child's brain. In some cases, to survive in those kinds of environments, the brain may develop more Machiavellian traits as a way of adapting. Now, what I'm about to say is poetic. Don't take it as a scientific fact, just see it as a metaphor. People who become Machiavellian because of their environment rather than their genetics, what do you think happened to them? Was it parents who never admitted their mistakes and kept taking out their anger on their child? Was it poverty that gave them a hunger far greater than the hunger for food? Was it society that stripped them of everything until they started seeing society itself as exposed, until they finally saw the world's true face and realized that everyone wears a mask, and to survive, they believed they needed a mask too. Maybe without even realizing it, they put on a mask that couldn't understand love, kindness, or compassion. That mask gave them everything they wanted: power, love, money, but it also gave them emptiness. Over time, they accepted that mask as their real identity, until they completely forgot who they really were, and they became a monster, a person driven only by self-interest, someone who could no longer see the good in the world, or even wanted to. He became a human, capable of great psychological violence, driven only by his own self-interest. In short, a monster. But wait, here's the scary part. This mindset was written down centuries ago in a political book that changed the way people think about power and dominance. Click the video on your screen to find out those powerful rules. I'll see you there. Goodbye.